What's up, people? Welcome back to the Joe McFo Show. My name is Jordan, aka Joe McFo, and I'm a professional concept artist and visual development artist working in the entertainment industry. I've worked at places like DreamWorks and Netflix, and I want to share my experiences and the things that I've learned with you all. First off, I want to apologize for not uploading a video for the last couple of months. I've been going through some things in my personal life that has basically stripped me of all inspiration to create content and to make videos for you all. And I admit that that was probably a little selfish, but I also needed that time away. So I hope you all forgive me for that. The good side of this, though, is that it's given me a lot of time to think. And one of the things that I realized that I have to overcome continually, which I imagine a lot of you all are struggling with, is how to become confident as an artist, or how to overcome imposter syndrome. And I know that there's a lot of you out there who want to become professional artists, who want to work in the entertainment industry and potentially create your own TV shows or movies, or becoming a director or character designer or storyboard artist. So today I want to give you my top 5 tips for learning how to overcome this ridiculous imposter syndrome. First tip I have: don't take every drawing so seriously. I understand that we want to do great work. I personally identify as a bit of a perfectionist, and as much as I identify as that, I also hate that at the same time, because it causes me to think a little bit more heavily on my artwork, and it actually stagnates my growth, because I want every drawing to be perfect. I want every line, every color, every pixel, if I'm drawing digitally, to look right. And sometimes that's just not going to happen. A lot of times it's not going to happen, because none of us are perfect people. I have my off days just like everyone else. But you guys don't think Bruno Mars or Beyonce doesn't have an off day every once in a while where they hit the wrong note, or they sing a little late, or they have to cough during a performance, or whatever it is that they're doing? It's the same thing with artists. We have to be willing to give ourselves that grace to just let go a little bit. And the other thing, something I learned from one of my professors, is there is beauty in imperfection. There may be a drawing that you're working on, and maybe you distort the length of the arm or the leg or something, but you could create a new solution to a design that you never would have thought of if you didn't just let go. And I think the more that you embrace the changes, the distortions in your drawings, especially if they're intentional, the more work you'll be able to create, and the easier it will be to induce an emotional reaction out of people. Because let's face it, when you're an artist, that's really the goal. You want to elicit an emotion. You want people to feel scared if your character is walking in a dark, haunted room, or you want them to feel excited when they see the ice cream man coming. But you have to be kind to yourself. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand: imposter syndrome, perfectionism, it's all a mental game. When you recognize that it's really, a lot of it is just in your head, you can start to overcome that. Most times people aren't expecting you to be perfect. They understand these things. No drawing is ever going to be perfect. When I was in school and I would do my figure drawings, actually, hold on a second. Okay, so I have this cubby next to my desk. You see this? You see these stacks of drawings right here? These are figure drawings that I did when I was in school. Each one is probably like a 2 or 3 minute sketch, and you could see, me going through different stuff. But I had to do so many of these, and most of these drawings, quite honestly, suck. I know that these drawings aren't perfect, and to be honest with you, I haven't even looked at them probably since the day I drew them. But the thing is, you cannot get to the level you want to reach until you put in that work. And if you're constantly stressing about every line, every color, every brush stroke, you're just not going to get very far. Okay, this thing was like 15 pounds. Anton Chekhov, the playwright, said, "If I had listened to the critics, I'd have died drunk in the gutter." You have to find a really good community. If you feel unmotivated, there is nothing better than someone to help you along that journey. If you feel like you are just stuck in a rut, you can't pick up a pencil, you can't pick up a paintbrush, then find someone who can put some encouraging and uplifting words to you. If you don't have that, then at least find a good podcast or a book or a song that will make you feel motivated. There's a reason why people listen to certain music when they're working out at the gym. When I work out, I don't listen to sad songs. I listen to stuff that's going to get me motivated and pumped and make me feel like I can do anything. Now, I admit, I might have a little bit of an advantage because I'm an only child. And so as a kid, I would have to constantly find ways to entertain myself. So I would have to go in the backyard and just play by myself and just figure out fun games. Or I would have to be self-motivated, essentially. I would have to figure out things and realize that there are certain people that just aren't going to be there. I'm not to say that my parents weren't there for me, but sometimes they were cooking or working or maybe running errands or something like that. And I just had to learn how to do things on my own a little bit. So me having that practice as a kid, it allows me to know that there's a certain level of fortitude that I have in order to create my work. But there are plenty of times, like this last couple of months that I just told you about, that I needed some extra support and people who can come into your life and really say, hey, your work is actually fantastic. Maybe work on X, Y, and Z, but you're going to be just fine. And on top of that, guys, you really have to monitor the critics that are in your life. Not to say constructive criticism isn't a good thing, because it is, but there are some people who just are not adding value to your life. They just want to complain, and oftentimes it's because they're jealous of you. Sometimes they wish that they had the ability to pursue their dreams and their passions. I actually have friends who tell me to this day that they are jealous that I chose the artistic path because it was something I've been interested in since I was a little kid. Now, obviously, being an artist comes with its struggles too, but ultimately, I would not change this path for anything. I love the fact that I can wake up and get paid to draw stuff. Like, that to me is honestly a dream. And if I could see my 6-year-old self, or if I could talk to my 6-year-old self right now and tell him that the dreams that he had would come true, I would be elated. So those critics who really don't understand your path or your journey, you're gonna have to learn to compartmentalize those negative thoughts, because some people don't have families that support them. I had plenty of classmates who told me straight up that their parents were not supportive of their artistic pursuits. Some of them wanted their kids to become doctors or lawyers or accountants or professors and anything but the artistic path or the creative path. And you can even see the stress on their face as they're telling this story. And that's what makes it really sad. Now, some of those stories ended up very happy, where the person would pursue art and they ended up making it a career and made it really great for them. And then there's some people who listen to the outside influences, even if it was their parents, and then 20, 30 years down the line, they are depressed and sad because they did not listen to their own intuition, their own natural gut reactions, and what they really wanted out of life. Tip number 3, celebrate your wins and accept your failures. Mary Madsen said, "Let the bad times roll. I'm loving every minute of the struggle." Some people have a hard time celebrating themselves. I am one of these people. I remember the day I finished my grad school experience. I finished my last class. Everything was set to go. I passed my finals, and I don't think I really celebrated. I made a phone call and just said, "Hey mom, I'm done with school." And that was about it. And I didn't take time to really recognize the fact that I accomplished something that very few people in this life get to do. And I'm incredibly proud of what I've done, but I really wish I had taken the time to sit back and just really recognize how much work I put in to my journey and to my path and to becoming the artist that I've always wanted to be. And here's the other thing, guys. Your accomplishments don't need to be major in order to celebrate them. You don't have to have gone to grad school or get accepted to work at a major company in order for you to celebrate. Maybe your celebration is finishing a page of the comic you're working on. Maybe it's finishing a video for TikTok that you're putting up, or whatever. Like, you can celebrate in little ways. Have your success be proportionate, or have your celebrations be proportionate to your success. And accepting your failures is also a really key thing, because that's something that a lot of people struggle with. When they fail, they feel like life is over for them. They feel like there's nothing better to do than to just lay in bed all day with the lights off, rewatching episodes of Seinfeld. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think it's okay to take some time to yourself. I would be a hypocrite if I said that it's bad for you to take time to yourself. But to stay there perpetually or not make attempts to improve your life circumstances is really something. For me, what I had to do in order to get over this rough patch, I started going to therapy. I had to talk to my therapist about all the stuff that came up in my life so that I could see how it led me to where I am now. And even though I don't think I'm at a place where I have perfected all of the flaws or all of the things that have made me self-conscious about my work or myself or things like that, I'm trying to make the effort. I am working on accepting the things that turn me into the person I am today. And I'm trying to not let those things define me. And so I really recommend getting some sort of counseling too if you guys are really struggling with this sort of stuff. And this video is not sponsored, but I use betterhelp.com and my therapist is freaking amazing. If you're watching this, appreciate you. Recognize you're going to live to draw another day. Recognize it's just an art piece. It's just a drawing. It's just a video. And the worst thing that can happen is someone leave a nasty comment, probably. But life goes on nonetheless. There are so many people in this world who have faced insurmountable failures or seemingly insurmountable failures. Abraham Lincoln went bankrupt several times before he became president. Walt Disney, similar situation with him, and we all know where Disney has become. So point being, remember to celebrate your wins and accept your failures for what they are and then move forward. Don't stay in one place too long. You cannot change the things that happened 2 seconds ago, and you don't know what's going to happen 2 seconds from now. So just learn to be present with where you are, with your skill level, with your mental state. All these things, super important. Don't rest on your laurels. Continue to learn the fundamentals. And this applies even if you're a professional. Picasso said, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. I think it's incredibly important to recognize that sometimes the imposter syndrome does genuinely come from a place of not being skilled enough. So you might need to take that into consideration too. Now, what can you do about it? All the major professional artists that I can think of always say, go back to your fundamentals. You'll see people like Bobby Chiu or Nathan Fowkes always talk about how their biggest reason for their success tends to be that they relearn anatomy, they relearn perspective, they relearn composition, lighting, painting textures, all of these different things that really help them propel forward, because these are the basic building blocks of art. Just like professional singers still need a vocal coach, there are fitness instructors who have fitness coaches, there are accountants who have their own accountants. And so revisiting fundamentals, continuing to learn them, continuing to learn from the masters, people like Sargent or Da Vinci or Michelangelo. Even if you are a professional, it's always good to revisit those things because you can always learn something new. Art is one of those things that it's very difficult to say you have mastered. It's sort of like saying you've mastered parenting, or you've mastered driving, or you've mastered cooking. There's a level where you can say, I'm pretty good at this, but there's always something new to learn. There's always new updates and improvements that are made to technology. So don't stay stagnant, continue to learn, continue to grow. And the last tip I have for you guys, you have to love your work. According to Lionel Hampton, he said, the secret is keeping busy and love what you do. For me, I eat, breathe, sleep, drawing. That is my thing. It's been that way since I was 6-7 years old. And that's just what I do. Now, will I say I am the best artist that ever was? No, not even close. I think I'm pretty decent, but I would never be bold enough to say I am the best, I am the top of the line. But what I can say is I love this path for me more than anything else. And I want to pursue this path with a tenacity that I will probably not pursue many other things. I don't have a passion to be a lawyer. I don't have a passion to be a doctor. If you were to see my test scores in biology when I was in high school, you would see why I could not be a doctor. Nothing is worse than losing passion for something you once had a passion for. So if you guys feel like you're in a place where you just don't enjoy it anymore, what I recommend is revisiting that place to where you first found out how much you loved and enjoyed art. I think that is so important. For me, what I have to do is I have to go back in my mind and think about what inspired me in the first place. For me, it was watching Disney movies like Hercules, Tarzan, Mulan, Lion King, and shows like Avatar and The Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, The Boondocks, which I probably should not have been watching at the age I watched them at, but I digress. So you have to revisit that place, because what ends up happening is sometimes we get jaded by life. Things happen, relationships and your personal life change, you get heartbroken once or twice, you lose a couple jobs, you lose money, you gain money, your job sucks, or your boss is a jerk, or any scenario. You cannot let that distract you from the passion that you once had. Because imagine if you are the younger version of you and they have this very specific dream to do art just like I did. Wouldn't it mean so much to them if they saw that 20, 30 years later that they had achieved their dream? That's what pushes me forward. That's what really helps me to recognize, hey, where I'm at now is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm following the path that I set out on. And is a fantastic, it's a beautiful thing. And realistically, not everyone has the luxury to do that. Some people are put into jobs that they don't enjoy. And matter of fact, most people don't enjoy their jobs. And I feel very blessed to be in a situation where I can do something I enjoy for a living. And I want to inspire you all to pursue that too. Even if you've come across my channel and you're not an artist, maybe you want to be a musician, maybe you want to be a chef or an engineer. If you have a passion for it, I full-heartedly believe that that's something you should do. Now, if you decide to learn something like Finnish polka dancing and there's no career behind that, there's no market value behind that, that is entirely on you, but at least you have a passion for it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to comment and let me know what some of your tips are for overcoming imposter syndrome. I'm also going to be putting a link to this book, It Always Seems Impossible Till It's Done, by Catherine and Ross Petra, because this is the book I got a lot of quotes from the video from, and it's really excellent. I got it off of Amazon, and all it is really just a book of inspirational quotes, and there's just all this really great stuff from people from all over the world, whether they're playwrights, businessmen, basketball players, musicians, etc. And it's really helpful to me for me to get motivated. I'll just take 5-10 minutes to read a couple of pages, and then I get down to work and I feel motivated and rejuvenated to get back to what I like to do. Last but not least, I have a Patreon. If you would like to support the channel and you want to see more content from me, please check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching the video. Peace.